Welcome back. I put on my training shirt and yeah, you might have realized in the real world I might be practicing not that much, but in the Android world I would be at least a Hulk, I would assume, yeah, at least. So now we are going to patch this application and I'm feeling pretty confident in my Hulk form that we are able to do this. We did not understand anything about the Smali part, but let's figure out what we've got. Therefore, we need to switch to the Ubuntu VM and we also need to verify that the value 0xa is our corresponding player power. Let's open Android Studio. We go into Tools, Android Studio, bin, bash studio.sh. Whoops, there's an O missing. Okay, here we are now at our player class and we can see our power level is equals 10. Let's open the corresponding Smali code to this. So we would have assumed that this 0xa is our player value, our player power. How can we verify this behavior? Do you have an idea? Please think about this for a moment. Alrighty, I'm pretty sure you got the solution. We simply go into our player studio code over here and then we switch this value or change this value from 10 to 12, for example. Then we save this and we create our new APK. Afterwards, we check the Smali code once again and see if this value has been changed. That's it. We can now also use JDX GUI because yeah, the APK tool output is, in my case, much more easier to read, but regarding to comparing a single value, both outputs will be the same. So therefore, let's have a look into this. We click on locate. Then we open a new terminal and we say JDX GUI app debug.apk. Then we go into our player class. We hit the Smali button and we can see, yes, the value has been changed from 0xa to 0xc. Let's have a look. Python 3 0xc. This is the value 12. All right. We now know where our player value is. This one over here. This is our player power. Before we are patching this, let's make some sort of visual output because otherwise we do not see if our player power has been increased. So therefore we go back into our Android Studio code. We go into the main activity class and we have to create a new instance over there. So we say player equals new player. Now we can access this player power field and we print this out in the system console output. Therefore we use system out print line and then we have to adjust this to add a string over here. So we call this player power equals and then we concatenate this value. I know this player.power is an integer value, but it's working in this way. So we can concatenate the string with this integer value over there. Okay, now let's build this application back again. This time it's a lot more faster. We click on locate. We click open in a new terminal and we make our ADB connection to our virtual machine. Now we can install this application. In case if you get an error message over here regarding to test devices or things like this, then we have to adjust these -t parameter, this one over here. Otherwise, please have a look into the cheat sheet I have provided you. I've inserted there all ADB errors I've encountered so far. And if there's a new error, then please write me a message. I try to figure out what's the root cause and also provide an update to all members about this. Okay, now let's get back to the screen. So we get our screen here and we open this one. We can see this is our first built application. It's an Hello World application, but we didn't do anything about this Hello World part. It's a text field that's already inserted over there. And within the ADB logcat output, ADB logcat, we can now grab for player power. Nice, we can see our player power equals 12 over there. If we want to add this value or change this value right now, we have to do this process once again. And I show you a more easy approach within the Android Studio. Okay, to connect Android Studio via ADB to this virtual machine, we have to create a new configuration file over here. That's not that hard. We simply go on to Run, then we go into Edit Configurations, we opening up this templates and we click on Remote. Then we have to insert our IP address and port over there. Let's figure this out real quick. ADB Connect, this is the IP address of this virtual machine. And the port is 5555. This is the default ADB port. And that's all. If we click on Apply, okay. Then we can uninstall this application first and then verify if our configuration is working. So we hit uninstall, ADB uninstall, com app hacking Smali 1. In case you have chosen a different package name, you can find this over here in the Android manifest XML, this one. So this application has been successfully uninstalled. Let's verify this. Yes, it's not available anymore. Now let's keep this in foreground that we can see this effect. We click now on Run App. And if we do not have a device attached or a virtual device already started, it's automatically choosing this connection. And we can see it's directly opening over here. And we also have this logcat output over there. Nice. This is a little bit more faster. If you do this a lot, so changing, experimenting around this, this might be more handy to use. Okay, we can also search in this one for player power and we can see, yes, we've got this 2 times over here. This one is the old version and this one, or old version, this is the old application and this one is a new application. We can see this on the timestamps. Nice. Okay, let's do a quick recap. We definitely know that this one over here is our player power. We do not know what this one is, or this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. We do not know anything in this file beside this value over here. We know this is our player value. In this case, it's now 0xc because we have changed this value. We also added some sort of visual output. And now we are ready to patch this application. We do this in a short moment. Before, let's do a quick recap on all these steps in a graphical way on our slides. And afterwards we increase our player power and make it over 9000. All right, let's go. Let's switch back to the slides first. Okay, while switching back to the slides, I came up with a different approach or solution for this. Let's make this as an own challenge. I guide you through this whole approach, how we patch in Smali application. And afterwards you can try it on yourself. I throw you definitely in the cold water and I do not expect this to work right now. Okay, so I've got no expectation that you can already do this. But I guess you will learn more by doing this in this way. We discuss the solution of course afterwards, and if you struggle or cannot patch this right now, this is absolutely no problem. As already mentioned, pure cold water. We've got our game application and this only consists of this output of the player power. So we do not have, or we assume we do not have the source code because we are hackers and normally you do not have the source code. Therefore we take this APK and we put it into our apps directory and this is our base we are working on. We've got a random application pulled from the device and we want to patch this. Okay? Okay, so we've got our game application and the first thing we need to do is we need to get those Smali files out of this application. We can do this with the APK tool. So we use the APK tool D command to decompile or decode this application and get back our Smali codes. Then we need to go into the player Smali class and we can find this by looking at the package name. So you can also use JDX to take a look at the source code and navigate a little bit more easier around this. We've also discussed this point in the previous section, so maybe you want to rewatch or rewind this one if you do not remember this anymore. Okay, by looking at the player.smali class, we do not know anything about the syntax over here, but we have identified our 0x8 value, which is the corresponding player power. We want to increase our player power to be over 9000. Therefore, opening up in Python terminal and figure out which value is over 9000. And then take this hex value and replace it at this point. So the only requirement to this one is that the player power is over 9000. That's the only requirement. Okay? Alrighty. Afterwards, we need to build back this application. So we use the APK tool B command to get our modified version. Then we have to sign this application and we use the zip-align APK signer approach in case if we have to deal with Android 11 applications in the future. After signing this application, we can then use the ADB install command to check this out. And after installing this application, we take a look at the ADB logcat. And after installing this application, we take a look into the ADB logcat, and then we will see if our player power is over 9000 or not. And in case this is, then well, congratulations, you have done your first Smali patch, and this is an amazing feeling. Alrighty guys, I'm super excited how good this is going, and don't worry if you cannot do this right now. It's an experiment from my side if we are already at this level right now. If this is not the case, don't worry. We start at 0 and I will guide you through until we reach our hero class afterwards, that we become a super Smali ninja. Alright, now let's try this and afterwards we discuss the solution about this. Let's go!